Hello friends, this is Dr. Nikita here, your radiology educator on PrepLadder, and today we are going to discuss everything about GT, how you should be fixing the low scores in GT, what are the misconceptions about GT, how you should be reviewing them, analyzing them so that it helps you build up the confidence for the real exam. So let's start with it. So first one, what are the common misconceptions and myths about GTs that are very rampant? Majority of the students think that they should start giving GT after the first read of all the subjects is complete. So this is something which should never be done. Remember that you can use the explanations of the questions which you get in the GTs as your learning tool. So please start giving GTs right from day one of your preparation. Initially, you should be giving GTs at least once a month. Then in the next 2 to 3 months, you should be going on to giving the GTs once in 15 days. Next common misconception is low scores in GT implies that I would be scoring low in the final exam. Absolutely not. Ask any topper and you would realize that every topper started with low scores in GT as low as 85 correct, and then they've scored rank in 200s in NEET PG. So do not let the low scores of the GT prevent you from giving the GTs. So use the GT scores as a graph. Your only target should be your next GT score is better than the previous GT. That is your only target. Even if you start with as low as 50 correct, it is absolutely fine. So what are the common reasons for low GT scores? First is lack of revision. Now, majority of the students, what do they do during the preparation is they just focus on completing the daily targets, reading new every day, and forgetting everything about whatever has been read in the past. So please don't do that mistake. Revision has to be a daily ritual, whether or not you are able to complete the daily target. So lack of revision is a very common reason that we see the low GT scores, the difficulty in recalling the topics that you have read previously because you have not revised it. Second is MCQ skills. Now, many students give GT very infrequently. The more MCQs you practice, the more MCQ skills you would develop. Remember, there are going to be many questions in the exam where you would not know the answer directly, but definitely by solving a lot of questions, you would learn a lot of tricks, smart MCQ skills that help you in logical and intelligent guessing of the answers. So you need to work on this, and for that, daily MCQ practice is very, very important. Next is not taking GT seriously. Many students give GT like, just for the sake of it, not even thinking very properly when you are attempting the questions in the GT. My suggestion would be to take the GT, every GT like real exam and in real exam scenario, right? Imagine that this is how you would approach your real exam. Try giving GT on the desktop rather than giving it on phone or tablets or iPads. So the more real exam scenario, there was one of the student after NEET PG 25 who messaged that, ma'am, I should have given GT on desktop. I should have given like sitting on the worst chair and without AC, because that is what I faced in my exam hall as well, right? It was very hot and the seat was also very uncomfortable. So that's why I say that give GTs in the real exam scenario. So how to review the GT and analyze your GT performance? Now, first of all, review all the questions. Right, spending more time on the questions which are incorrect, but definitely quickly reviewing the questions which are right as well, because you might learn some extra point from the explanation of those questions as well. So review subject wise. My personal suggestion would be when you're reviewing a GT, like review all anatomy questions together, all physiology questions together, because what will happen in that case is you would be able to make subject wise notes. So GT1 I give today, I review all the anatomy questions, my anatomy notes of those GT, they go at one area. I give the next GT, again I review anatomy questions, those errors, those notes go in one area, the same area, right? So review subject wise, and in that start with the incorrect ones. So when you're reviewing the GT, put in a filter which tells you that I want to review the anatomy questions first, and even in that the incorrect questions first. Right, so that is how you should be reviewing, and make notes of the incorrect questions, and don't just bookmark the questions, because trust me, it's very difficult to go back even to the bookmark questions. Towards the end of your preparation, you would realize there are thousands of questions that you have bookmarked, and it will be very difficult to find out which question is there. So better is to put it down into your notes, make a separate GT error book, GT revision book, and put on, like, even in that, categorize subject wise the number of pages, and put in all the points that you learn about a particular subject, something you want to note down, you had made a mistake, you want to revise later, put it there, right? So you should have a GT error book as well. Now, most important while reviewing the GT and to help you improve the scores is analyzing it in a way which helps you categorize your mistakes into whether those are the silly mistakes, right? I did not read the question properly, I did not read the except in the question, right? So those are silly mistakes. Is it a recall error? This is something I'd read, but just because I did not revise, I'm not able to recall it. And then, is it a lack of concept, right? I do not know the concept behind what the question was asking. Or is it an entirely new fact that has been there, I've never learned about it. So if it is silly mistakes, what you need to do is practice more MCQs, right? So that you develop the habit of reading the questions fast, not just fast, accurate as well. If it is recall error, you need to focus more on revision. If it is lack of concept, you need to go back to the main videos, go to the depth of the topic and make sure it is clear. If it's a new fact, and if it is a question which is made correct by at least 40% of the students, that is something that should go into your GT error book, right? Otherwise, you can just leave it there, because not everything that you would see in GT is important and needs to be remembered. So make this benchmark that if 40% of the students are making a question correct and I have made that question incorrect, then it goes into my notebook, right? Make a master chart documenting all the GTs for, the mistakes like this. So this is my GT1, this is my GT2. How many silly mistakes did I do? How many recall errors? How many were lack of concepts? How many were new facts? So you should be writing down like there were 4 silly mistakes, 5 recall errors, 4 concept. In the next GT, it was 6, 3, whatever. So you would get to see the trend that what is the major area where I'm making the mistake, right? Plus, you should also document in every GT which are my bottom 3 subjects. If you see consistently GT 1, 2, 3, there is pharmacology which is coming in the bottom 3. This tells you that you need to tackle this subject first, right? So bottom 3 subjects is what you have to document as well. Make this master chart which is right in front of your eyes. So what are the mistakes to avoid when you are appearing for the next GT? So don't repeat the same mistakes like the previous GT, right? Remember, it's a blunder to repeat the same mistake. So that is why what you should be doing is review the GT error book that you have made, right? Before giving the next GT, revise from that book and revise the bottom 3 subjects that you had in the previous GT and see that whether now they have turned into your stronger subjects, right? So this is what you should be doing at least before giving the next GT. Review the GT error book and focus on revising the bottom 3 subjects of the previous GT. So what are the smart revision and practice techniques that you can use? Very, very important, revise daily. Irrespective of whether you are able to complete your daily target or not, revision has to be done daily. You can use the time periods when you think that my productivity is less. You can use the time periods for revising something that you have read yesterday, because that would not take a lot of effort, plus it will boost your confidence that I'm able to remember the stuff. So use the low efficiency, low productivity times as your revision times, or if you want, you can fix daily that this is my revision time, maybe in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, or whenever it is. Highlight the areas where mistakes are commonly made. So in your notes, use a particular highlighter which is your commonly mistaken areas and keep revising those again and again. Remember that every time you cannot revise everything from line to line. So you have to go for smart revision, which is more time effective. So that is why you need to highlight those areas which need more attention and more revision. Practice MCQs daily, right? Because all these exams are your MCQ exams, and someone who has good MCQ skills definitely scores more and gets a better rank. So at least 40 to 50 questions, daily you should be doing a custom module depending on your primary target is NEET PG or it is INI-CET, FMGE. Depending on that, you should make a custom module of 40 questions, 50 questions and do it in a timed manner only, right? Like you have in NEET PG 40 questions in 42 minutes, INI-CET 50 questions in 45 minutes. So depending on that, practice the custom modules daily. Practicing a lot of MCQs. Again, wherever you are making mistakes, note it down in your notebook, because revising from there is easy rather than every time going to the app and bookmarked questions. If you have in a particular question, there is a treasure that you see, a table that you need to revise, bookmark that question and keep revising that. Every question that you make wrong in a GT should not be bookmarked. There will be thousands of bookmark questions which you will never be able to review like that. So something which you're not able to put down in your notes because there's a big table there, or the explanation is something that you want to review again, only those questions should be bookmarked. And make sure you are doing this custom modules in a timed manner, because I did receive messages again post exam from the students saying we did practice MCQs but not in a time manner, and because of that we faced a lot of difficulty with time management in the exam. So this is where your MCQ practice, your GTs come into play, helping you to build up that time management skills, right? So remember that your GTs basically help you to build up the exam stamina and confidence, especially when you give the GTs in the real exam scenario. Try giving it on a laptop, on a desktop, rather than on phone, tablet, iPad, and give it without any pause like you would do in the final exam. Attempt the same way like you would do in the real exam, because your GTs basically help you to develop that how you would approach the real exam. Will you go for a safer approach? Ki I'm marking the answers only to the questions where I'm confident, right? So maybe like that, I'm marking answers to 140, 150, 160 questions, or I'm going with aggressive approach. I'm marking the answers even to the questions where I don't know the answers, 190 plus, 195 plus. So try giving one GT with a safer approach, one GT with an aggressive approach, and see that what is working better for you, right? Nothing is, there's no like one solution which will work for everyone. So try doing it for yourself, experimenting, because only when you experiment, you will learn that what will work in the final exam. The GTs definitely help you develop the MCQ skills. And very important, do not get disheartened by the low GT scores, right? They do not reflect your real exam scores. The GTs are generally more eccentric as compared to the real exam, right? So please do not get disheartened by the low GT scores. Use GTs as a learning tool rather than as a testing tool, right? So especially when you are in the first read, use them as a learning tool. The explanation to every question is what you should try to grasp and assimilate and make concise notes out of it and keep revising it. Only when you are towards your revision phase, at least one revision is done, then the GTs can be used as a testing tool. Now let me see how I'm performing, right? So this was all about the GTs, the misconceptions, how you should be reviewing and all of it. I hope this helps you. All the very best, everyone. And remember that you can do it. If somebody else can do it, you too can. Just have that faith and put in the right efforts and you shall definitely get it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more such important high yielding videos, and I'll see you again soon. Till then, goodbye and take care.